Okay, our last paper for this talk is Symphony, Path Validation at Scale. And I believe our speaker is right here. So take it away.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm An Xiaohe, a fourth-year PhD student at Zhejiang University. It's my great honor to be here presenting our paper titled as Symphony Path Validation at Scale. This work is done with my collaborators Jiandong Fu, Ruiqi Zhou, Chenlu Miao, and my advisors Kai Bu and Kui Ren. Basically, we proposed an aggregate validation that enable routers to verify a group of packets simultaneously. The evaluation results show that Symphony achieves a higher communication throughput and a faster processing speed. So let's focus on the context that motivated our research. So the internet is the intricate maze path where packets navigate through routers to reach their destinations. However, this journey is fraught with potential attack surfaces. For instance, there is a risk of traffic diversion where an attacker may redirect our data to eavesdrop on sensitive information. Another concern is the fictitious premium path usage, where ISPs may deceitfully use a lower quality path while charging for a high quality one. And finally, we must worry a packet injection with spoofed source address. It involves routers to add unauthorized packets into the flow to incriminate the source. And the crux of this issue lies on control, or rather the lack of it. The current end hosts have no control over the paths that their packets take, and they cannot verify the actual path a packet took toward the recipient. So this leads us to question, how can we ensure the security of packet forwarding? To address these challenges, path validation acts as a critical mechanism. It enables clients to control and verify the intended paths for packets, ensuring packets travel through the correct routers with a designated order. So how does path validation achieve this? Here are some representative solutions. First is icing. It is regarded as the first-stage path validation solution. It forces each router to compute proofs for all its downstream routers and verify the proofs for all its upstream routers. While it guarantees the highest level of security, it suffers low efficiency. The next is OPT. It increases the security assumption with a trusted source. The source can pre-compute all the proofs for all on-path routers. So intermediate routers only need to verify and update corresponding routers during the forwarding. This significantly increases the efficiency. And EPIC follows the structure of OPT, but it further simplifies the computation and shortens the proof size. It makes it faster, but the proofs are easier to be forged. We observe that existing path validations encounter a dilemma of efficiency and security. On one hand, we require proofs to be easy to compute to maintain a high efficiency. On the other hand, proofs should be robust enough to withstand sophisticated attacks, ensuring the security. This tug of war creates an efficiency barrier, that if we want a secure routing, there exists an inevitable lower bound of overheads for proof computation. And the core issue of this problem is the packet-wise validation. So let's focus on the conventional method of packet-wise validation. As illustrated in this slide, it is centered around the processing of individual packets, one at a time. For example, operations like verification and update target on only one single packet. This method seems straightforward, but is constrained by the cryptographic techniques used. It limits the efficiency and the security directly during the forwarding. So based on the limitations of packet-wise validation, let's ponder a transformative idea. What if we verify a group of packets simultaneously? We can enhance security without sacrificing security. And this is the core idea that Symphony is built on. So here is the crux of our solution, the aggregate validation. Instead of treating each packet separately, the Symphony enable routers to process packets in a group-wise way. By aggregating a group of packets as an independent packet to compute proofs, we amortize the proof and the computation cost evenly over packets. And since each packet carries an entire proof for verification, we assure the unchanged security constraints. The workflow of Symphony can be basically divided into 4 steps. First, the router fetches a group of packets from the import queue. Second, the router regards the entire group as an import to compute proofs. Then it extracts the proofs carried in the packets and concatenates them. The router validates the entire group by comparing the computed proof with concatenated proofs in packets. If they match, the verification succeeds. Third, the router updates the proof using its own credentials and distributes it evenly across all the packets in the group. Finally, the router transfers the updated packet group for output. So one major challenge of packet aggregation is how to identify packets within the same group and preserve their orders used by the source. For proof computation, we introduce hierarchical tags to address this problem. It consists of 3 fields. The first is group tag, which aims to solve the intergroup mixing problem. We use it to assign packets of the same group with an identical group tag. It is also combined with session ID to differentiate groups of different sessions. The second one is the order tag. We use it to solve the intra-group disordering problem. We use it to assign packets of the same group with different order tags. And the last one is the group size. It instructs the exact number of packets in a group. It is used to identify packet loss. If the number of packets doesn't reach the group size within a certain time threshold, the group can be regarded as incomplete. It also makes the group size adjustable to suit the network performance for the service and performance quality. So here is an example about how we use the hierarchical tags to identify packet order. After the router receives the packet A, it classifies its group using its session ID of S1 and the group tag of 1. Since the packet A has an order tag of 0 and a group size of 3, the router knows that it is the first packet of a group of 3, and there are 2 more packets await to complete the group. Then it comes packet B with the same session ID and the group tag of packet A. However, a disorder arises as the order tag of packet B is true. Instead of 1 follows the 0 of packet A. Still, the router puts packet B into the queue, waiting for the further processing. The router then receives the packet C with a different session ID and group tag. It omits packet C by putting it into another queue and proceeds to identify subsequent packets. Finally, the router identifies packet D with same session ID and group tag. So packet D brings forward the final packets to complete the group. Using the order tags of packets A, D, and B, the router can reorder them in the sequence of A, D, and B. In this way, the group is complete and is ready to compute proofs. So packet loss is an inevitable challenge in network communication. It imposes a more potentially tougher challenge on Symphony than other existing solutions. Because we use the aggregate validation, one lost packet might fail the verification of the entire group, and thus necessitates the retransmission of an entire group, which might cause network congestion. Symphony addresses this problem using a straightforward solution. It simply drops all the incomplete groups and requires them to retransmission. The evaluation results show that Symphony still has a higher throughput comparing with Epic when packet loss rate is up to 10%, so the congestion is secure. However, we may still face some situations that has a higher requirements for the forwarding continuity or has a high packet loss rate under disruptive network conditions. We propose the packet reaggregation technique to address this problem. It can reinitiate aggregate validation over the remaining packets. The major workflows can be divided into 4 steps. First, every packet in a group should carry an entire proof seed, rather than a part as Symphony does. So the routers can use the seed to compute a valid proof. Second, the routers use the computed proof to compare with the remaining segments of proofs to verify the remaining packets. If they match, the verification succeeds. Otherwise, the failed packets would also be dropped. Third, routers regard the left packets as a new group and use it to compute new proofs for the downstream routers. The original proofs will be replaced by the new ones. Finally, routers need to use their own keys to update an encrypted packet message generated by the source. The destination would check if the final ciphertext is what it should be when it receives the packet. This prevents the packets from being modified by malicious routers. Here is the evaluation part. We did a series of experiments to evaluate Symphony. The first part is about its low communication overhead. The left side of the picture shows that the total proof size of Symphony, and the right one shows the good put ratio of Symphony comparing with the other existing solutions. Symphony increases at least 5% good put ratio in comparison with Epic. And this is the efficiency part. We implement Symphony on 14 servers to achieve a real deployed multi-hop test bed. The evaluation results show that Symphony has a high efficiency, and the efficiency gaps increases with group size. Symphony achieves 1.4 times to 5.8 times higher throughput than Epic does. Symphony also has a higher parallelizability. The throughput increases with allocated cores. Given a 10 Gbps link, Symphony reaches the upper bound only using 3 cores. And given 4 cores, the throughput can be maximized with less payload and smaller group size. For the packet loss, although Symphony is more affected by the packet loss than Epic, and the impact increases with the group size, it still outperforms Epic with at least 1.5 times higher throughput. And when packet loss rate is relatively high, Symphony PR with packet reaggregation performs better. The figure shows that the packet loss has a lower impact on Symphony PR. It yields a 5 times higher throughput than Symphony does, given a 45% packet loss rate. Due to time constraints, not all sections are mentioned. Our paper contains more contents for the further reading, such as security analysis and other experiments. We prove that our proof unforgeability is guaranteed by the AES CBC MAC itself, and we use formalization to prove that our hopwise validation can defend against attackers like packet alteration, injection, and deviation. So we make the following conclusion. We amortize validation overhead to improve efficiency, yet without sacrificing security. We propose various techniques to achieve correct and efficient packet aggregation and implement them through Symphony. We further propose a packet reaggregation technique to efficiently handle packet losses and integrate it into Symphony PR. In conclusion, Symphony represents a leap forward to the past validation solutions. It enhances the efficiency without sacrificing security. So thanks for your attention. If you have any questions about this paper, please feel free to contact this email. And now I'm open to any questions you may have.
It's Piyush from University of Michigan. Thank you so much for the talk. So internet routing in general, it's not just about the router level paths, but we have so many other components like the load balancing policy that an ISP implements. There are different sorts of tunnels that gets established from one router to other, which encompasses, let's say, 10 routers, on the way. And then there are CDNs, which, completely changes game of what should be the optimal path from the source to the destination. So this approach of validating paths, how does this basically encompass all these different complexities that are already there for deciding what should be the appropriate path from a source to a destination?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Okay, so I'll ask a very, let's say, specific question. So how can your approach accommodate the functioning of a CDN? Because based on your location, the path that you might, the ultimate optimum path that you might have might be different for, let's say, a user in India or for, let's say, a user in the US, right? So how does this validation work in that scenario? Like what path will it say is, should be taken and was valid with the help of your approach?
I'm not sure I'm quite understand your question. Do you ask how can our validation succeed if we don't have if we don't recognize the same if we don't recognize a correct group?
Yeah, so my understanding of your work was there's supposed to be an appropriate routing path from a source to a destination, and your approach tries to validate if a certain path, that specific path was followed or not. I'm saying there are multiple ways of having an optimum path, and so how do you decide that it's correct or not? Using your proofs and your approach of introducing proofs at different hops. In the worst case, I can take it offline, but yeah, it's fine.
Another way maybe of asking the question is, how does this work deal with CDNs, where you may have multiple locations for the path throughout the world?
Oh, okay, I understand. So this implementation of our solution needs a specific implementation of router queue. You can see the example from my hierarchical text that we use multiple queues to store the different packets of groups. We attribute using the DPTK as a software version. So in this way, we can separate different groups and process them with multiple proceeds. So yeah, it's very difficult to actually deploy it on the existing routers, as it needs to big modification on the hardware. And we are currently working on a hardware version using the FPGA. Am I answering your questions? Okay, sure.
Any other questions? If not, I have a question. So you've got this work basically grouping all these packets together to validate them as a group. That sounds awfully similar to just validating one really big packet. So have you looked at how this might compare with, say, jumbo frames or using really big packets instead?
Yes. So this is so it's basically we are concerned about the MTU limit size. So basically it's 100. So it's 1500. So if we use very big packets, the proof size will be very big also. So this might limit the good put ratio. So we use aggregate validation to amortize the proof size.
Sure, but if instead of having the MTU be 1,500 bytes, what if it was 9,000 bytes? A jumbo frame Ethernet packet.
Okay, so
essentially, like, it looks equivalent to just picking a group of about 8 packets, which gets you to a group size of about 9,000 bytes and proof size that's whatever that. Is there a difference between just using big packets and using an equivalent sized group?
So basically, we can use a bigger group size to solve this problem. with bigger proof size, we can split the proofs into more pieces, and each pieces will be small enough to fit the MTU size. So your question is a very yeah, it's a good question, and it's a traditional question that that problems that every path validation solution will face, because we all need to use cryptographic techniques to to calculate proofs for the packets, and we need space to store them. So if we want a secure proof, we must keep the proofs longer so that it cannot be forged. So we chose to split it into pieces and merge it into a complete one to complete our security constraints.
Okay, let's thank the speaker again.
Yes, thanks.